Welcome to the third episode of our series Easily Explained, guys. I'm Chris at your service, and today you're gonna be learning how to use the aggregate method in Node.js. But first, we need to understand its concept. Basically, aggregate is a method that is used to get simpler and reduce result from a huge lump of data by making them go through several stages. The aggregate method has two more components to it other than the stages. One is pipeline and the other is operators. Now let's try to understand these three using an analogy. Suppose you want to go through a car wash to make your car clean. So in that way, the whole process of you going through a car wash will be the pipeline, meaning that it is the whole process that our data in the database goes through. And all the different functions performed on your car during the car wash like scrubbing, soaping, or pre-washing, etc. are the stages. Meaning that stages are steps that our data goes through while being in the pipeline or process before getting reduced. And there are many different stages like filtering, grouping, and sorting our data. And the tools that we use for the car wash like the water jet, soap spray, and brushes are the operators. So we can say that operators are a group of tools that we utilize in order to reduce our result. I hope you've understand its concept. Now it's time for its practical usage. So the data stored in the database for this project looks just like this. It's basically a review table of a bakery where the clients, the customers have given their review about certain products, and there's no ID of the client, of course, because I just want to keep it as simple as it can be. And we are going to use the .aggregate method to reduce the result that we get. I've already done the required configurations like setting this on a port and also connecting with the database so that we can jump right into the code. And the first thing that I want to achieve is getting the review of a single product. Let's say in this example I'm gonna do cake, and then we will generalize it further. For example, we will pass a value of a product and then it will give us the review of the product, but now for simplicity we're gonna do it for the cake. So we will first name our route, which will be get reviews, and then inside it I'm gonna write a try-catch statement. And for a try-catch statement we have to make this an async function, and then I'm gonna write a constant by the name of reviews. And keep in mind that this constant is what we're getting back from the database. And then I'm gonna write await, and I already have the model setup, so I'm gonna write a review, which is our model, and then aggregate. Okay, so we have the aggregate method set up. Now we have to define its pipeline. The pipeline is basically the whole process that our data goes through before getting reduced. And there are two methods of writing it down. The first will be to simply write it within the brackets and doing it all in line. The second will be to make a separate array instead of this, and I'm gonna choose the second method because it is much more cleaner in my view. You can use either one, both will work like charm. And then const pipeline, so this will basically define my whole process. And inside the aggregation pipeline I have to define some stages using some operators, and the first stage to begin with is matching. Of course, we want the data of the documents that have the product of cake, and we have to filter out anything else than that. And to do that we will use the matching stage, and for that we have to use the match operator, $match operator, and we will pass it as an object, and inside this object we can clearly define what are the things that we want. So we want the product to be cake, which is the equivalent of using the .find method like this. And now the second step will be to grouping the data that have just matched here, and for that I have to use separate pair of brackets, and inside here I have to use the group. And inside this group object, the first thing I have to do is to define the field that I have to group together, and to do that I have to use the underscore ID key, and I'm gonna use underscore ID and then pass the field like this dollar. I have to use dollar because I am grouping them up, I cannot use them regularly, that's why. And here I have to group the stars, the star rating of the products. And here, what do I want after I group them? So in my case, I have to count. What do I have to count? I will explain it later. First, I will write the count, and then I'm gonna sum 1. Now, what does this all mean? Meaning that for every common value of the group, there will be one added to it. For example, we will have 3 5 stars. So for every 5 star, the value of count will be added by 1. And that's how we will know that we have 3 5 stars, because the ID will show 5 for stars and the count will show 3, because every time we have got 5 here, 1 is added up here. Not only that, but I also want to get the name of the product for which the reviews are being loaded here, and for that I'm going to use a relevant key, and in my case I'm going to use product, and inside here I'm going to write $first, so that it gives us the first value of our group, and obviously it is grouping the product. And up here we have filter out anything other than cake, so it will be cake whether we get the first value or last value, but for simplicity I'm getting the first value. Okay, and then I have to define the field, and the field is product, so get me the first value that comes up in the product field. Alright then, a basic example of aggregation pipeline is completed, and I'm gonna pass it inside this function. Okay, pipeline, very nice. And after getting the reviews, we have to return it to the client who is requesting the get reviews. And so for that we have to write response.status, and the status will be of 200, meaning that everything's going fine. And then in JSON format I'm gonna send our reviews, and for the error we will have response.status, and this time it will have 400, meaning that there is something wrong happening. And then error dot message, so that it will return the user what's wrong. Okay, now we will test the code that we've written up until now to see whether it's working or not. And for this I'm using Postman, which is an API platform used to build, design and test our APIs. And here I am with our URL of get reviews to see whether our code is working or not. And all that's left for me to do is click on the send button and wait for a response. Okay, so now we can clearly see that we're getting a response, and it is correct that we're getting a 5 star 2 times of the product cake, 4 star 2 times, and likewise. Our code is working, but it's only for a single product, which is cake. Now I have to make modifications in it so that it can give us the reviews of any one of the other products. And I'm gonna achieve it using query parameters. Now let's see what are query parameters. For example, we have this route by the name of get review, and here I want to send a specific parameter, and to do that I have to use question mark, the key of the parameter, which will be, let's say, product, and then its value equals to its value, which will be, let's say, cake. And that's how I can send a query parameter. And to receive this, what I have to do is that I have to go up here and then write constant and product equals to request dot query dot, and then the parameter. In this case it is product. Now that I've got the query parameter, I'm just gonna pass it up here where I'm matching data, and I'm gonna write product like this, or we can just write product, so that both the key and values will be product. And to test this, I have to make some modifications in the URL. so that I can pass the query parameters. And to do that, I have to first write a question mark, and then I have to write the key, which is product and equals to, and then I'm going to write the value. Let's say I want to get the reviews of pizza. Alright, and I'm going to click on send. Okay, so we can clearly see that we're getting the reviews of the product pizza, and if I write soda and click send, we will get the review of soda. Okay, now this is working like a charm, and now I have to introduce another aggregation stage, which is sorting. I'm gonna comment it up so that it's easy to read. And inside the sorting, what I have to do is that I have to dedicate a separate pair of brackets for it, and inside here I'm gonna write $sort, and then I have to write the field in accordance to which I have to sort the data. And here in this case I have a field by the name of date created with a timestamp. So date created, and if I write -1, it will give me it in descending order, meaning that the latest data will come first. And if you leave it as it is, it will give us the data in ascending order, which is a default, so you don't have to write it if you want. But if you want it in descending order, what you have to do is that you have to write the field and then pass the value of -1 here. Okay, now time to test this. I have passed the value of cake here, and if I click on send, it should give me the data in descending order. Yes, it is giving me the latest data first and then coming to the older ones. And that was it about the aggregate method in Node.js. If you guys find this video useful, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel. The link to the source code of this project is provided in the description if you want to check it out. It was Crux at your service, now signing out.